What if everything you think makes you a good person is actually pushing people away and destroying your relationships? If you think being a people pleaser makes you a good person, you're lying to yourself. We need to have a very uncomfortable conversation, because this isn't about kindness, and it certainly isn't about being generous. It's about control. Right now, your brain might be telling you to scroll away or find a video that validates your niceness. But that impulse is exactly why you need to stay. That scroll away reflex is a defense mechanism designed to protect a version of yourself that is actually hurting everyone around you. We've been conditioned to believe that putting everyone else first is a virtue, but in reality, people-pleasing is a form of shadow manipulation. It is a covert contract you've signed with the world without anyone else's consent. You are performing a role to ensure a specific reaction. And today, we're going to strip away that mask and look at the psychological cost of being the nice. 1. The truth is that nice is often just a polite word for dishonest. When you navigate your life by constantly managing other people's reactions to avoid conflict, you aren't being a saint, you're being a director. You are curating a specific version of reality so that people will think, feel, and act toward you in a way that makes you feel safe. This is what we call emotional dishonesty. Think about the last time you said yes to a favor you actually hated, or when you laughed at a joke that wasn't funny, or stayed silent when someone stepped over your boundaries. You might think you were doing them a favor by keeping the peace, but what you were actually doing was removing their ability to know the real you. You were managing their emotions so you wouldn't have to deal with the fallout of their potential disappointment. That is a form of control. When you operate from a place of people-pleasing, you are effectively running a scam on your relationships. You are presenting a curated, polished, and easy version of yourself to the world. And then you feel resentful when people don't appreciate the real you. But how could they? They haven't met the real you yet. They've met the performance. This creates a massive barrier to true intimacy, because intimacy requires the risk of being disliked. If you are always being nice to ensure that everyone likes you, you are preventing anyone from actually loving you. Love requires seeing the whole person, including the messy, disagreeable, and firm parts. By being a perpetual pleaser, you are robbing the people in your life of the chance to have a genuine relationship with a human being instead of a mirror. Every time you perform niceness to gain approval or duck out of a difficult conversation, you are reinforcing a covert contract. This is an unspoken agreement where you think, if I do this for you, then you have to like me. Or if I never make you angry, then you aren't allowed to leave me. But because the other person never agreed to this contract, you inevitably end up feeling exploited and burned out. You're working overtime to maintain a reputation of being the helpful one or the reliable one. But that reputation is a cage. It's a shadow manipulation because you're using your helpfulness as a currency to buy security. You aren't giving. You're bartering for your own peace of mind at the expense of your integrity. This niceness also creates a toxic power dynamic. When you refuse to express your true needs or feelings, you force the people around you to become mind readers. You're essentially setting them up to fail. You wait for them to notice your burnout or your hidden frustration. And when they don't, because you've been working so hard to hide it, you feel victimized. This cycle of performance and resentment is exhausting, and it's a direct result of choosing nice over real. We have to stop viewing conflict as a failure and start seeing it as a requirement for honesty. Until you are willing to be the bad guy in someone else's story for 5 minutes, you will never be the hero of your own. You are managing their reality to protect your ego, and it's time to realize that the most unkind thing you can do is to never let someone know where you actually stand. It's time to look at the mechanics of why you do this. Because this habit didn't start yesterday. It started when being good was the only way you knew how to survive. We have to look at the why. If you're feeling attacked or defensive right now, I want you to take a breath and realize that this behavior didn't appear out of thin air. You weren't born a manipulator. You were trained to be one. For most people pleasers, this was a survival blueprint drafted in a home where love felt like a moving target. In psychology, we call this the Fawn Response. You've heard of fight, flight, or freeze, but fawning is the social version of survival. It's what happens when a child realizes that the only way to stay safe or to keep the peace in a volatile house is to become a mirror. You learned very early on that if you were good enough, quiet enough, or helpful enough, you could prevent the storm from hitting. You became an expert at reading the room before you even walked into it, scanning the faces of your parents or caregivers to see whose mood you needed to fix, just so you could feel okay. This is the conditional love vacuum. You grew up believing that you are only as valuable as the last thing you did for someone else. In that environment, being authentic was a liability. If you showed anger, you were difficult. If you had needs, you were selfish. So you buried those parts of yourself. You traded your identity for safety. The problem is that while you're no longer that helpless child, you're still using the same old software to run your adult life. What saved you at age 7 is suffocating you at age 30. You are still treating your boss, your partner, and your friends like they are the volatile figures from your past who might withdraw their love if you step out of line. This transition from manipulator to survivor is crucial because it allows you to stop shaming yourself and start observing yourself. When you realize that your niceness is actually a trauma response, it loses its moral high ground. It's not a virtue. It's a nervous system regulation strategy. You aren't being nice because you're a saint. You're being nice because your body is terrified of what will happen if someone is disappointed in you. Your brain equates someone else's frown with a threat to your survival. But here's the cold, hard truth. The people who truly love you don't want a servant. They want a partner. By staying in survival mode, you are keeping them at arm's length. You are refusing to grow up and take the risk of being a fully realized, three-dimensional human being. It's time to stop surviving your relationships and start actually having them. So, how do we break the cycle? It starts with the authentic presence practice. This is the stage where you stop performing the character of the nice person and start inhabiting the reality of being a human. This requires you to rebrand disappointment in your mind. Up until now, you viewed disappointing someone as a catastrophic failure. From today on, I want you to view it as a tool for health. If you never disappoint anyone, you aren't actually living your own life. You're living theirs. Authentic presence means showing up with your no intact. It means sitting with that shiver of honesty, that physical, gut-wrenching discomfort. That happens when you decline an invite or state an unpopular opinion without adding a 1,000-word apology at the end out. You have to learn to tolerate the silence that follows a no. The urge to over-explain is just another form of manipulation. It's you trying to control their opinion of you so they don't think you're mean. Stop it. Let them think what they want. Real connection can only exist in the space where a no is just as possible as a yes. Otherwise, your yes means absolutely nothing. To end this, I want you to perform a performance versus presence test. Look back at your last 3 social interactions. Were you reading from a script? Were you saying what you thought they wanted to hear just to keep the vibe pleasant? Or were you actually there? You cannot build real love on a false version of yourself. It is a mathematical impossibility. If they love the nice version of you, they don't actually love you. They love the service you provide. I want to leave you with a challenge that might make your heart race. Look at your life this week. What is one thing you agreed to that you secretly resent? That resentment is the sound of your soul screaming for boundaries. Go into the comments right now and share one thing you've said yes to recently that made you feel that pang of resentment. Let's stop the performance together. It's time to be real, even if it means being unlikable for a moment. Because a life where you are liked by everyone but hated by yourself is a life not worth living.